Well, hello. Here we are on day 4 of 29
The
years.
29th year and beyond.
29 years and beyond.
Yes.
What we wanted to kind of like focus on today is the fact that communication is key.
Yes.
Uh,
And hold up, because I think it's sort of important to sort of tell why this is really an important issue. And from my point of view, early in our relationship, like within the first 2 months, um, we had been going out day by day by day by day and communicating, and I felt like we were really making a connection. And then he says, I think we need to take some time apart. You remember that?
I remember that.
And basically, why did you do that? Because I was hurt. I mean, my feelings were hurt. I thought, what did I do something wrong? And do you remember that? I was really, really upset.
It wasn't 2 months, and it was actually a lot sooner than that. And
Okay.
and reason being, um, as I said previously, 10 days in, Gail went out. Gail and I went out the first time, and 10 days in, I knew I loved her, and I knew I wanted to marry her. But who does that, right?
Right. That's true.
And so I knew that that would be something that would probably be kind of frightening. It's like, who is this psycho, and who does that? So to spare myself the pain and the misery, I said, you know what? Just before I go any further with this, I don't want to frighten her. I'll just end it.
Yeah, you're right. It's about a month in. Oh, so in other words, you didn't communicate to me your feelings.
That's right.
So there we go. Communication is key, even early on.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. It's key early on, and it's always going to be something that's paramount. And for those of you who think you're great communicators, that's one of those areas where we all need to be willing to improve and understand that we need to. But yeah, so then when she was like, when I told her, okay, I didn't think we should see each other, then she persisted because it was like, no, she wanted to. And then my thought was, okay, and now I'm going to let her have it. Now I'm going to unload both barrels and tell her the truth. And so I did. And what do you
And
know?
what did I say?
She was right there too.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Y'all.
I remember that day. Oh my goodness. I was so upset. I mean, having gone through this emotional time, eyes swelling out on porches and stuff, and that's a whole nother story. But anyway, and for him to say, let's just sort of take it easy, maybe we should just pull back. I'm like, okay, well, did somebody else come back into his life? Okay, so then my suspicions kicked in, distrust, everything. But had he communicated his feelings originally, none of that would have happened.
And that's why the communication is so paramount, because when you're not being honest with one another, and when you're not sharing, all the other person is left to whatever they begin to speculate. And you can begin to speculate your own little reality, right?
Yeah.
And you run with that, and I mean, because you have nothing else,
Run amok.
nothing else.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. It's just like, you want to make certain that as you make decisions individually, and more importantly as a couple, that you're able to make the wisest, most sound decisions. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is by having the most information possible. And so I've always been someone who have been pretty much a straight shooter, right? But I try to be sensitive, because there was a period of time in my life where, I mean, I would just put it out there, and say what I was thinking, even if it offended folks. And that's not good. Before I met Gail, I was in service, and I remember, I was on this, like, just tell the truth kind of a thing. And I was at Fort Bragg. And one of the sweetest people that I worked with, she wore this hideous blouse, right?
Oh, I remember this story.
And, being on my just honest kick, I said, that's the ugliest blouse I've ever seen.
Okay, and like you said, who does that?
Who does that, right? And this was one of the sweetest women you would ever want to meet. And I said to her, it looks like old curtains, right? And then somebody else came in, and And she said, Fred said he didn't like my blouse. Said it looked like old curtains. And then this other sweet woman said, no, dear, drapes.
See, and then it was the Sound of Music all over again. So no, communication is key.
It really is. But this is definitely just part one, because
We'll
there's
revisit this
so
over and
much
over
to
again.
say
Yeah.
about communication.
Yeah.
But remember, early on and throughout your relationship, you have to be honest. You have to be able to share and make certain that things are just not left to speculation.